Coach Rye here. Today, we're going to be looking at Olympia Bikini winner versus amateur Olympia Bikini winner, somebody who just got their pro card. This video is going to highlight the differences, the criteria, and what you need to know if you're out here and competing in bikini at any level, trying to get your pro card, trying to get to Olympia, or just trying to do your first show. That's what I do on this channel. First, foremost, one thing I want to tell you about this experience. Free coaching trial is going to be going away. Do not miss out on this. Grab your phone right now, teamfflex.com/7-day trial. You can train with me free for 7 days in my online coaching platform, same one all my clients use. All my successful athletes, transformations, everybody has been there. You can be there too. Okay, it's totally free experience. You're not going to put credit card info in. You're not getting charged nothing. Literally, you just get to train with me free for 7 days. I'll train you on your splits, your workouts, your nutrition, whatever it is you need, feedback on your physique, your posing. It's all right here. Do not miss out. This is going to go away. I don't want you to miss it. All right, here we go. So we have Maureen, our Bikini Olympia champion right here. Next to Victoria, our amateur Olympia Bikini champion here. So Victoria wins the overall there. She does get that pro card. Maureen wins the entire Olympia in this division. Now, instantly, I know a lot of you are watching. You're like, what the heck is going on? What are these mega different looks here? How is Maureen, the Olympia champion, looking, a little bit less muscular, a little bit softer? And how is Victoria in the NPC, just actually went to the IFBB, won her pro card here, looking bigger, more dense, leaner. And I'm going to explain this pretty in depth. And this is something that you really want to pay attention to if you're a bikini competitor, okay? Now, bikini division criteria is always exactly, basically what Maureen is at here. So some good fullness up top, good tapering at the midsection, good balance between the glutes, the quads, the hamstrings, everything here to create that hourglass shape. And softer levels of condition. This is really what we're focusing on right now in this division, right? Like Maureen winning this title over other athletes in that lineup is proof judges are kind of pulling back to that softer look, a little bit more of that attainable look, a little bit less of the extreme muscularity look that sometimes we see bikini competitors bring. Okay, so Maureen is the standard for this division as it sits today. Now, we look over at Victoria, right, and instantly you notice there's some clear similarities, but also some clear differences, right? So she's got that fullness to the shoulder. She's still got that good tapering at the midsection. She's got a good balance in the lower body between the glutes, the quads, and the hamstrings. But she is looking bigger, right? We see bigger deltoids here. We see bigger glute development here. We see more density in the quads. We see more feathering in the quads, harder lines in the abs. These are all indicators she's bigger and she's leaner, right? And instantly I know many of you watching are like, okay, that makes no sense. How is Maureen the standard, but this is what's winning Amateur Olympia and getting a pro card? Victoria here. Well, the answer lies in the fact that amateurs often are, meeting criteria, but doing it too aggressively, okay? They do it too aggressively, and you can be best on stage at that time in that lineup up against other athletes. It doesn't necessarily mean you're best in the entire division, right? Oftentimes when we see amateur athletes turn pro, they are going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit leaner, and then they go into the pro leagues and they start to see, oh, this is a little different. I'm going to have to change my look. They start doing pro shows and they're not doing well with that amateur NPC type of a look, right? The amateur NPC look is bigger and it is leaner and it is, a lot of times leaning those ways. But when you get into the pro leagues, you start to see that there's a different focus in how things need to present. It really does have to be a lot more true to criteria than what you can get away with in the amateur league. So Victoria here brings pretty honestly a very good look for the NPC level, but the top, the pinnacle, right? Like she was now transitioned out of the NPC and is on, in other words, to the IFBB. And I bet we'll see her compete. She's gonna change some of this up. Probably go a little bit smaller in the shoulders. Probably balance out the glutes in these quads a bit. And definitely, I would guess she's gonna soften up. But the biggest difference that NPC athletes need to pay attention to, and what you need to pay attention to watching, is that almost every NPC bikini girl is always super focused on getting super shredded and always super focused on getting too big, right? And what's funny is sometimes, depending on the panel and the other athletes there, this look would not win on that day. That's important to remember. And also, it's important to remember that Maureen's look is Maureen's look. It's not necessarily going to be your look. So when you look at the criteria of bikini, which both of these athletes do represent very, very well, you have to also realize that the criteria is just a list on a piece of paper, basically, for where you're actually going to need to bring in your specific physique. Some athletes actually look a little bit better, a little bit bigger, a little bit leaner. Some of them look better, smaller, and softer. Some of them need to find the in-between. Every single one needs to find their individual look. So when we look at this comparison here, it is very similar, but it's also clearly different. We do see, over here on Victoria, leaner lines, more cuts, more stuff like that. And, I think her transitioning in to now the pro leagues, we will probably see her look develop over time to soften up. Also, we do need to say Maureen's look was a bit of a wild card here, kind of coming into that mix. She was definitely softest on stage, and she wins the Olympia. She was, a little bit smaller than everybody else. She does have that shape. She does have that density. She still has that iconic bikini look. But again, it is a shifting in the way things are moving. So it doesn't necessarily mean athletes like this can't win. Athletes like this can't get a pro card. It means, hey, who are you up against that day? Who's on stage next to you? And what the heck within the criteria are the judges looking for, right? So let's pop over to the back now. And this is where you start to really see the biggest differences between, an athlete that just turned pro at this event or an athlete that has been, top of the division for a long time. So instantly what you'll see here on Victoria is she still has that good shoulder shape. Everything's there, tapers in really well. Lower body wise, the structure, the balance, the symmetry is all there. But, her glutes, they do look a little bit under, that upper glute is a little bit depleted. Again, this is probably because of how lean she came in. Pretty common to see that. When you come in overly lean, you're going to flatten out in a lot of different ways. She does show that glute tie-in just like you would want. We do see some hamstrings, a little bit of quad. She's got a totally, complete bikini look. Honestly, if she just softened up a bit, it'd probably be much more comparable to Maureen. And I bet you that was her feedback on this day. They're probably saying, yeah, you really got a great look, great physique. Going to have to soften up just a little bit, though, because you look at Maureen, same stuff, shoulders from the back, everything's there. It's a really balanced look. But you see the biggest difference becomes in the muscle density, the depth to it, right? That fullness, right? So Maureen has a lot of fullness in the hamstrings, a lot of that 3D kind of tie-in projection coming through, a lot of fullness to the upper glute, overall glute density. And overall, yes, she is bringing a softer look, which I do believe, that's going to be a favored look 2026 on bikini stages. I've already seen this with my own clients competing, that is kind of being the trend right now. Like, they're shifting away a lot from the big shreds and the big leans. But keep in mind when you look at this, yes, she is leaner, and yes, she is more muscular, but she just won her dang pro card. If you're at your first show, your first event, something like that, you're not trying to bring that look to stage. And also, I would bet that we see these looks, even in the amateur leagues, throughout the next season being favored more. The softer bikini look, a little bit less of that aggressive look, a little bit, not as hard, not as big. But, either way, the thing that you have to understand, the take home from this video today is both of these athletes are now IFBB pros, right? One is the top of the division. One just got there. And either way, what you need to understand is that your look is probably not either one of them. What you need to be focused on is finding your best look within the criteria, and that's what's going to get you the win at any level. Whether it's your first show, your 50th, your pro card win, whatever it is you're trying to do, I promise you, your best look on stage is your look. And the key to getting that, guess what you got to do? You got to get first a coach. You got to then get on stage. You got to get feedback, and you got to continue that process until you refine it. All athletes that have gotten here, it has been a consistent journey of revisiting, refining, and reshaping that look to get the ideal. So keep in mind that while you may look at that and a lot of people are like, oh, well, how could this be true? How could that be true? Criteria is a wide range. Criteria is a very wide range. And, the athletes that are going to do the best are the ones that refined their look the most. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you like a little bit of a leaner, more muscular look over here? Is everybody locked into Maureen's look at this point? I know the dust has kind of settled from Olympia, but we are still talking about it. We're going to keep talking about it. Follow along, stay with me. And of course, if you missed out on this, don't miss. I don't know. I'm going to turn this off at some point soon. I mean, it could be any day. So don't miss out now. Take you 2 minutes to sign up. jump over there and you can be talking to me in my coaching platform in 5 freaking minutes. Thank you for watching. Coach Ryan is out.